Hey, what's going on, guys? I am going to do my best here to explain to you the Phenom Poker platform and why I'm personally excited about the Phenom token. Price has continuously increased since launch and currently sits at 3.57 USDT per one Phenom. I'm not late to the game, but I'm definitely not early. I just kind of started 3 weeks ago collecting the tokens by playing, generating Rakeback, doing the refer a friend, trying to maximize the amount of tokens I'm making. And really, if I can break even in the games and get a bunch of tokens, I'll be pretty happy about that. To explain the Phenom token to you, it represents ownership in the actual Phenom Poker site. And the only way that you actually get a revenue share of the site is by holding the token. So even, the founders right now, if they were to sell their tokens, they wouldn't make anything from the actual Phenom Poker website. So yeah, the more tokens you hold, the more shares of revenue that you receive. And it's the net rake collected by the site. So that's after they pay out referral partners and rakeback and bonuses and things like that. 50% of that revenue gets distributed to the token holders. That's essentially why you have ownership in the website, or why it's considered ownership in the website, is you're getting that piece of the net rake collected. The rest of the rake, it goes into the treasury, which is where if you redeem your Phenom coins. So you can see here that the price of the token and what you can redeem it for. So this 357. This is the formula for that. Calculates 130 times the net rate collected over the prior 4 weeks divided by the outstanding tokens. And the outstanding tokens is always going to be 50 million. The cool thing about Phenom is everything is traceable. The play going on is traceable. So basically this contract represents the tables. So when someone goes into a table or cashes out or whatever, that's going to show up in this transaction list right here. These are most likely rake that's going to one of the rate collection accounts. And from there, leaderboard rewards and all that is distributed. When somebody buys in for $300, $1,600, $200, that's showing there. And this is a player's wallet that you could go in and you can actually see what they've been playing in terms of like buying in, cashing out, or how many Phenom tokens they hold, whatever. So everything is 100% transparent in terms of being on the blockchain and being able to trace everything, which is really cool. This $489,000 represents how much money is actually on these tables right here locked into this contract. Let's try to just like trace one of these rake contracts here, like where the money's going. So you can see the table contract here. This is the rate contract. This is where all of it's going. There's $6,000 currently being held. And if you see where the money goes out, I found one earlier actually that was interesting, where it was the account that was also having the leaderboard paid out. So yeah, this is it. So this is their leaderboard rewards from last week, and you can see that this morning this account sent all of that money to the leaderboard people. So this was first place, second place, third place. So all that rate collected last week was held in this account and then sent out to these accounts here, these players' accounts here, paying out the leaderboard rewards. So just a quick review of Phenom. So basically, it's the rights to revenue share. It's voting rights. So anytime there's a governance proposal, token holders can vote. Only two ways to acquire the token. It's play on Phenom, refer your friends. This is the revenue share and kind of the contract that I was showing you. So when the player plays and they join a table, it goes to the table contract. Table contract then sends the rake to the rake manager contract. It goes to the DAO treasury, and the revenue share manager contract sends out a leaderboard. Well, I guess also the rake manager contract does, as we were showing. It sends out leaderboard. Revenue share manager sends out all of the profit to the token holders, the 50% of the net rake. Then rest goes to the DAO treasury. And then that redemption contract, when you want to swap your Phenom tokens to USDT, then it gets redeemed and sent to the players. You could track all that if you wanted to. As the site grows, your revenue share piece grows, your token price grows, and the games are just going to get better and better. What's kind of the downside that I see of this model? The only real downside that I can think of is there is a maximum amount of liquidity that one person can contribute to the player pool. Essentially, obviously, there's whales that have lots and lots of money, but there's only a finite amount of money that can be in the ecosystem, kind of floating around, being played, creating additional revenue on the site, all that. What happens is that money gets locked up in that treasury, and people just want to hold their tokens. And say so a losing player comes in, they make a bunch of tokens, and they're like, okay, I made my nest egg. I don't want to play anymore. That liquidity is locked up in that player's account. So ideally, what happens is some people redeem their tokens and they get USDT. They play with that USDT. More revenue is created, and not everyone's just locking up the tokens and kind of waiting for that end game of collecting revenue share and just watching the token price go up. There has to be contribution from people that are holding the Phenom tokens, continuing to help games run and have that liquidity in the player pool. So that is the one thing in theory that I think is kind of not an issue but not great, because if you think about a site like ACR, all that rakeback is paid back in the form of putting that money in someone's account, and they are either forced to cash it out or play with it. And 95% of losing players, they deposit like a few $100, they get $50 back of rakeback, they play with that 50, they lose it. So it goes back into the ecosystem regardless. But I love the model. I love the fact that you playing and contributing to the site growing rewards you by having that revenue share piece and capturing that token price growth as well. I think this is a great opportunity to come in and grind and be rewarded as an owner, essentially, in the site, and having your stake in the site. If anyone has any questions, just let me know. I'm really excited about the project. I'm going to continue to grind, collect tokens, and hopefully good things happen in the future.